What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another alternate universe what if. And this is going to be, this is going to be a quite different one. This is going to be, I'm going to experiment with this. If y'all want to have another part of this, get this up to 50 likes, because this is going to be an experiment, alright? And this is going to be way out of the text. This is not going to follow the whole Naruto, how Naruto is going up to become Hokage and the whole fight and stuff. This is going to be way out of text. This is not going to be. It's going to be a tiny bit linked to the story, but this is going to be way out of text. I want to experiment. I want to make this crazy. I want to make this like 18 plus as possible. I want to get down dirty. I want to get as far dirty as possible in this what if. And this is going to be, what if Naruto was a lustful demon? Now, someone probably already did this idea, someone probably did not. But this is going to be an 18x. Not an 18 plus, it's going to be an 18x. This is going to be, you know what? Let me just give out the warning. Warning, this is going to be 18x. This will contain sex, possibly sex, and more sex. And you could say a little bit of blood, but more sex, you could say. If you're, like I said, not 18, get the fuck out the kitchen, because shit's about to get spicy. And also, I should probably let y'all know, after this video, and I will do another video after this, and also start a live broadcast of me playing, you could say Paladins and some other games. So, further ado, let's get into this video and see how this video will go. This will be part 1 of what if Naruto was a lustful demon. Now, we're going to start Naruto as 15 years old. 15. Because, gotta have the age limit of him. You could say fair fight to have sex. Now, okay, sorry, I'm back. Had to get some stuff done, but let's get into the story. So, Naruto will be 15 in this. 15 in this, so I think the age limit is enough for him to have sex and stuff, and also do other things. But how would this story goes? How would this start? Well, we start with the lower pits of hell, and we're gonna say this is a lustful demon. Now, he pretty much have all the women's and stuff, and he's possibly bored out his mind, and he's thinking to himself of he want to have a successor, to become the new lustful demon king, you could say. Now, he's pretty much looking around hell, looking for people, and many people is trying to be cut off with it and trying to have the power and stuff, and he's pretty much saying, no, this won't do. None of these guys are not doing anything. They can't handle my power. They can't handle all this woman. They can never pass this test of doing all this stuff. Now, this is where Naruto, you could say, is pretty much walking, and he makes it at the side of the end of the waterfall. We're going to say they had a waterfall. And Naruto's pretty much sitting there, and he's pretty much looking out at the sky. Pretty much saying, one day I will become Hokage, and I'll prove them all wrong. I will get strong and get powerful. Now, this is where the lustful demon, he's sensing, and this lustful demon is named Arok, you could say, and he's pretty much hearing Naruto's call, pretty much power. You could say his strong willpower of to want to have it all, power, wealth, popularity, loved by the people, and he's pretty much saying, I can sense this power, this willpower, and he begins to reach up. Now, this is where he appears in front of Naruto. Naruto freaks out and begins to back up and says, what the hell? Now, this is where the demon is saying, it's pretty much saying, so are you Naruto Uzumaki? Are you the one who pretty much called me? And Naruto is confused, saying, who? And this is where the lustful demon, a rock, saying, you're Naruto Uzumaki. I can tell. And you have a power inside of you. Something that's a demon or a beast. Now, Naruto is confused and saying, what are you talking about? And mad confused and getting up. Until Rock saying, well, I heard you could say prayer or your willpower and strong will to want to become, you could say Hokage. Now, this is where Naruto's saying, yeah, I want to become Hokage. Believe it, I'm saying that, which Rock's saying, okay, how about this? You become my successor and you will have my power to become, to pretty much fall wherever you want to do, to become a king, a god, whatever. Well, not a god, but you could say powerful, that of similar of a higher level of a god. Which Naruto's thinking, if I could beat Sasuke. Pretty much thinking of petty stuff and thinking he can become Hokage and earn Sakura love. Now, this is where Naruto agrees upon it without knowing what he's agreeing to. Pretty much Rock says, pleasure doing business with you. But before you can have my power, you must go through these trials. You must do these trials for me. And there are only 3 trials. Which Naruto is thinking what is these 3 trials he has to do. Now, this is where Rock pretty much saying, you must find the one you have a crush for. Make her fall in love with you. Or at least sex her to fall in love with you. And break her heart. Which Naruto is thinking the only one I have a crush for is Sakura. Because at the time he has crush for Sakura. Now, this is where Rock says, if you can do that and manage to do that, then you will be worthy to have my power. Now, this is where Rock says, and I will be watching you every single step. Well, not watch, but pretty much just be at your house, you could say. Which Naruto says okay. Now, he's going to Sakura. And pretty much extra to talk to her somewhere. Now, this Sakura doesn't have a hatred to Naruto, but she doesn't, you could say, have a liking to him so much. So, now as she's pretty much, you know, is at, you could say we're gonna say at the store. Naruto asks to pretty much meet him at the trees, which Sakura, reluctantly agrees. Now, as Sakura is looking for Naruto, this is where Naruto grabs Sakura and leans in for a kiss. Because he knows he has no chance to offer up his feelings to her. Now, this is where Sakura is blushing and saying, what the hell you're doing, Naruto? I don't like you like that. Until Naruto leans in for a kiss again. Now, this is where Naruto pretty much backs away and says that he always had like her and had a crush on her. But he thinks it's time to move on. And pretty much, breaks it off with her and begins to walk away. Thinking a little bit outside the box. We're going to say Naruto has a little bit of intelligence and thinking outside the box. And he begins to walk. Because Naruto in this, he has glasses. Because he has a scene department. And he has a high IQ. He has a high IQ. So, yeah. Now, as Naruto begins to walk away, you could say run away. Sakura begins to try to stop him, but realize she's thinking that Naruto had a crush on her, and realized that she just got dumped by Naruto, and got her first kiss stolen by him. Now she is confused and walking and thinking, why did he break the ice with me and stuff? And begins to say, did he just dump me? And we haven't even dated yet. And this is where she feels, you could say, heartbroken. Now this is where the demon, Rock, the lustful demon, says, look at Naruto and says, and pretty much congratulate him, saying, you did all 3 trials at once, and very quickly. I'm surprised the girl you actually like is a complete dimwit, and she actually, fell for it. Now Naruto is pretty much, thinking that he's never gonna, can't talk to her again, until Rock says, congratulations, Naruto. Now you get to have my power and become the next king. The king of lustful. Of the realm of lust and power. And he begins to tap Naruto's head. Now Naruto hits the ground pretty much, shaking and, coughing up a little bit. And Araki is pretty much saying, oh, I forgot, it's a little bit painful to have my power, but you'll be okay. And this is where he leaves. Now, as he leaves, Naruto wakes up the next day. And he's, you could say, filled strong. He pretty much gets up and look in the mirror, and he looks like he realized he's different in a way. He has muscles. He has abs. He has like a perfect physique body. His eyes is much different. His eyes is purple. Like you could say pinkish, like pink purplish kind of way. He has his hair is much longer, and it's and his hair is kind of pinkish, a little bit of pinkish, and he has horns. Well, horns, yeah, he has horns, and he begins to say, "Is this the power that he hurts me?" And this is where he goes outside to test it out. Now, this is where he thinks of how to test out his power. He begins to go to punch a tree, and he pretty could, you could say, destroy the tree, and he realized that he has power. He realized that he can kick Sasuke's ass now. Now, as he's going to the academy, he's pretty much walks in, and everybody looks at him, and he looks different. They're pretty much thinking that Naruto has completely transformed into the Nine-Tails demon, and they're saying, "I knew he was a Nine-Tails, you know, demon and all that stuff." Which Naruto was looking at them, and some reason he doesn't feel afraid or doesn't feel sad or anything. He doesn't even care anymore. He looks at them like he's better than them, and he feels like he knows, and he feels he knows he's better than them, and they're beneath him. Now he's pretty much saying, "Yeah, whatever," and begins to sit down. Now this is where, of course, Kiba comes in and try to shit talk Naruto and saying that he's just a Nine Tails demon brat, a Nine Tails demon, and he's all that stuff. Which Naruto looks at him and smiles and says, "If I'm a Nine Tails demon, don't you think I would already kill you and kill everybody in here right now?" Which Kiba, flinch in fear, and everybody else do. Which Naruto begins to laugh loudly. Which the teacher says, "Enough, Naruto." Which Naruto says, "What did I do?" Now they continue class and stuff, and they begin to do all the battles and stuff and testing who's the better fighter and stuff. And this is where Naruto begins to fight with Sasuke. Now the girls are cheering for you could say Sasuke, and you're gonna say some of the girls are cheering for Naruto because the lustful effect is affecting them now. And since they looked at Naruto and checking him out and stuff the second time, they actually want to woohoo him and stuff. Including Sakura now. She definitely wants to see what's the change in Naruto and why he's like that. Now, this is where you could say, this is where you can say Sasuke and Naruto begins to have their fight. Now, Sasuke begins to try to fight Naruto to hand-to-hand combat, which Naruto is just kicking his ass. Even when Sasuke is throwing punches at Naruto, punch him in the gut and kicking him in the face, Naruto just grabs him and slams him on the ground. Now this is where Sasuke backs up and shoots a fireball at Naruto. Now Naruto pretty much smiles and pretty much hold out his hand, and he pretty much smacked the fireball away and says, "That's all you got, Naruto? That's all you got, Sasuke?" Naruto says. Now this is where Sasuke begins to pull out kunai and about to go for the final blow. Until Naruto pretty much just do a ricochet. You could say a roadhouse kick and kick Sasuke out on the ground, knocking him out. Which the instructor says finish. Which all the girls are saying, "Oh my god, Sasuke!" And some of the girls are cheering on for Naruto. Now Naruto begins to uh, walk up to Sasuke and ask if he's alright. Pretty much making a smile and hold out his hand, which Sasuke is, you could say smack his teeth and smack Naruto's hand away, which Naruto says, "Not cool." And this is where the school ends and Naruto begins to head. Now, this is where Naruto is walking uh, by himself until Sakura runs right behind him and jumps on him and asks and say, "Hey Naruto." Which Naruto looks at her and says, "Oh hey, Sakura, what do you want?" Now, this is where Sakura is saying, "So, what did you do? Why are you like this?" And how do you change? Which, like, how did you get this powerful and stuff? Like, she's trying to know. Now, this is where Naruto turns around and begins to look at Sakura and says, "Do you really want to know? Then how about come to my house, and I can tell you." Which Sakura begins to blush, and you could say getting wet and stuff. She's getting wet from the bottom. Now, this is where Sakura is saying, like, your house, and what we're gonna do. You're gonna tell me how you got powerful, which Naruto pretty much comes up to her and grabs her ass pretty tight and says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna very much tell you." Which this is where Sakura begins to, you could say, do a little moan and says, "Okay." Now, as they're going back to the house, this is the 18X part because shit's about to get spicy. So I recommend getting out the kitchen because shit's about to get extra crispy in here. Now, as they're going inside the house, Naruto begins to, could say tongue kiss Sakura and lays her on the bed. Now, Sakura, she's pretty much blushing, and Naruto begins to undress her. Now, Naruto is looking and smiling and begins to grab the boobs. You could say in the mild, rough, soft, tender ways, and Sakura begins to moan and stuff and getting wet at the bottom. Now, this is where Naruto is grabbing the two fingers, and you could say fingering Sakura's vagina. Now, Sakura is moaning real loud and saying, "Oh yes," and yes, until you could say she pre-cum, if I'm correct. And, or no, squirt, you could say. Now, this is where Naruto says, "Look at that, you got my hand completely wet." And Naruto begins to lick the squirt, you could say. Now, this is where Naruto takes off Sakura, rests her clothes, and begins to say that he's going to go in. Is she going to eject and reject and resist him? Which Sakura says no. Now, this is where whew, Naruto begins to put his penis in Sakura's vagina and going in and out. Now, as he's penetrating, she begins to moan and stuff and say yes, and having the experience of her life, because we're gonna say, as Naruto got the feats and the power ups, including the boost at the bottom, you could say, you know what I mean. But as Naruto begins to go in, this is where Naruto did nut the sauce on all over Sakura, not in the vagina, but all over her. Now, as Sakura's laying in the bed, Naruto pretty much gets up and puts, you could say, go get the towel. You could say get the towel and begins to wipe her and says, actually no. He begins to throw a towel on her and says, clean herself up, which she begins to start to clean herself up. Now, as she's cleaning herself up, she begins to hop on Naruto again and asks, "So are you going to tell me?" Which Naruto tells her that he's just, I don't know, got strong. Which she just says whatever and begins to say round two, which you could say they go for round two. And the next day, Naruto pretty much comes to class much earlier, which the teacher is surprised that Naruto came in class earlier, and Sakura comes late this time. Which the teacher says, "Wow, Sakura, you're actually late this time. Surprising." Now, this is where begins to ask where was Sakura at, which Sakura begins to say that she was at Naruto place and they had, you could say, sex. Now, this is where Ino says sex with him. Now, this is where you could say Hinata is listening and saying, Sakura and Naruto doing it with each other? It can't be. It could be. Including Kiba. He can't believe that happened too. Like, everybody's talking in on it, including the girls. Now, this is where Naruto gets cocky and stands up and says, "If y'all asking if I had sex with Sakura, yes, it's true. And if y'all want to see how good I am, please come to my house and I will show y'all how it's done and show y'all what's a real man." Which all the boys, including Shikamaru, is mouth drawing and all of them, and Toby and all that, including Rock Lee. And we're gonna say Kiba, he's extra pissed, and Sasuke, he looks and is other than wow, okay, and just looks away. Now, this is where Naruto sits back down and the teacher says, "Okay, now let's continue with today." Now, as I continue today, this is where he's talking about the last test and the clone thing. Now, this is where Naruto is sleeping, and he pretty much is sleeping in the classroom while the teacher is playing the whole clone thing. And if you fail, you will not pass. No, this is where Naruto meets Kuroma. Now, Kuroma, he's pretty much looking at Naruto, and Naruto turns around and says, "Who are you?" And this is where Kuroma says, "I am Kuroma, and I am in your seal. I am the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki," which this is where Naruto says, "Oh, so you're the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Are you the one who's messing with my chakra and stuff?" Which Kuroma says, "Yes, and what are you going to do about it?" Which this is where Naruto walks up to him and says, "Come closer," which Kuroma reluctantly comes closer, and Naruto pretty much punched Kuroma's nose in. Pretty much send Kuroma flying in the cage, rocking left to right and stuff. Now this is where Naruto begins to smile and says, "Now you listen here, Kuroma. I have a test coming up, and if I fail, so help me God, I will come in this seal and I will shatter you in multiple pieces and make the seal so tight that you can't breathe." Now this is where Kuroma says, "Okay," and begins to, say, "I will offer you my chakra if you need it." And Naruto says, "Okay, good fox," and begins to wake back up, smiling. Now, this is where Sakura is, by Naruto, pretty much waiting for him, blushing, saying, "Naruto, have you eaten anything? I brought you some food," which Naruto smiles and says, "No, I would love to eat with you." Now, as Naruto, as Naruto is pretty much, I'm sorry, my friend is in the party right now. He's trying to get my attention. He's just making me try to laugh, but pretty much, pretty much, oh god, yeah, pretty much. Sakura and Naruto had daytime eating and stuff, and Hinata's looking, at Fortress and saying, "They actually had sex? It can't be." Now, this is where, the end of the day, and everybody did the test, and Naruto passes, and everybody's, walking home. This is where stops Naruto and says, it pretty much says to him, "So it's true, yeah, actually did do it. What did you do to her?" Which this is where Naruto looks at, and says, "Oh, so you're interesting? So what did I do to her? Nothing really." Which this is where, uh, saying she's not having it, and she gonna have to go in his mind if she has to. Which this is where, use the subjects to go in his mind and see what did he do to Sakura. Now, as she's going into mind, this is where she looks around and she sees Naruto naked. Now this is where she's blushing and her nose is red and stuff, and she begins to about to fall back until Naruto catches her and he's naked and stuff, and he's pretty much like licking the blood off her nose, licking the blood all the way up her nose, and pretty much, saying, "You're bleeding, had to lick it up." Now this is where she's, blushing and saying, that's disgusting, which Naruto says, "I do anything for you. And if you're asking the truth, that you had to go in my mind, that," and as he begins to continue talking, he's biting on her neck and stuff, nice and gentle, and she's moaning and stuff and getting wet, as she's in the mind transfer. And this is where, she's saying no and all that. And Naruto saying, "It's okay. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I did to her." And he's pretty much, working his way and stuff, and he begins to finger her while she's in his mindscape. And this is where we're gonna say in her body she is. This is where she, could say squirt, and she actually squirt in her other body, and she pretty much hit the ground. Now this is where she's, back in her mind, and she's pretty much breathing and saying, "Wow." And this is where Naruto is pretty much smiling and saying, "Well, I'll be going now. Come to my house if you want to have a round two." Which he pretty much heads to his house. Now this is part one of what if Naruto was a lustful demon king. All right. If you like, get this up to 50 likes, and I promise I will put in another detail in part two, okay? But this is like a taste of a formula, okay? So if you want more of this, make sure to comment, like, share, and, do all that stuff. But I'm Keisha Chia. Thanks for watching, and peace out, guys. Kwanzaa.
you lost another one.